F. Frog. Frog is any member of a diverse and largely semi-aquatic group of short-bodied, tailless amphibian vertebrates composing the order Anura. Frog species with rough skin texture due to wart-like parotoid glands tend to be called toads, but the distinction between frogs and toads is informal and purely cosmetic, and does not reflect taxonomy or evolutionary history. Frogs are widely distributed, ranging from the tropics to subarctic regions, but the greatest concentration of species diversity is in tropical rainforest and associated wetlands. They account for around 88% of extant amphibian species, and are one of the 5 most diverse vertebrate orders. The oldest fossil protofrog Triadabatrachus is known from the early Triassic of Madagascar. F. Fan. Fan is a powered machine that creates airflow. A fan consists of rotating vanes or blades, generally made of wood, plastic, or metal, which act on the air. The rotating assembly of blades and hub is known as an impeller, rotor, or runner. Usually, it is contained within some form of housing, or case. This housing will allow air to pass through as well as directing the airflow, or increasing safety by preventing objects from contacting the fan blades. Most fans are powered by electric motors, but other sources of power may be used, including hydraulic motors, hand cranks, and internal combustion engines. Mechanically, a fan can be any revolving vane, or vanes used for producing currents of air. Fans produce airflows with high volume and low pressure, as opposed to compressors which produce high pressures at a low volume. F. Fire truck. Fire truck is a vehicle, usually a specially designed or modified truck, that functions as a firefighting apparatus. The primary purposes of a fire engine include transporting firefighters and water to an incident as well as carrying equipment for firefighting operations in a fire drill. Some fire engines have specialized functions, such as wildfire suppression and aircraft rescue and firefighting, and may also carry equipment for technical rescue. Many fire trucks are based on a commercial vehicle chassis that is further upgraded and customized for firefighting requirements. They are generally considered emergency vehicles authorized to be equipped with emergency lights and sirens, as well as communication equipment such as two-way radios and mobile computer technology. F. Fig. Fig is the edible fruit of Ficus carica, a species of tree or shrub in the flowering plant family Meraceae, native to the Mediterranean region, and to Western and Southern Asia. It has been cultivated since ancient times and is now widely grown throughout the world. Ficus carica is the type species of the genus Ficus, which comprises over 800 tropical and subtropical plant species. The fig plant is a deciduous tree or large shrub, growing up to 7 to 10 m tall, with smooth white bark. Its large leaves have 3 to 5 deep lobes. Its fruit is teardrop-shaped, 3 to 5 centimeters long, initially green but may ripen toward purple or brown, and has sweet soft reddish flesh containing numerous small seeds. In the northern hemisphere, fresh figs are in season from early August to early October. F. Feather. Feathers are epidermal growths that form a distinctive outer covering, or plumage, on both avian and some non-avian dinosaurs and other archosaurs. They are the most complex integumentary structures found in vertebrates and an example of a complex evolutionary novelty. They are among the characteristics that distinguish the extant birds from other living groups. Although feathers cover most of the bird's body, they arise only from certain well-defined tracts on the skin. They aid in flight, thermal insulation, and waterproofing. In addition, coloration helps in communication and protection. The study of feathers is called plumology. People use feathers in many ways that are practical, cultural, and religious. F. Fish. Fish is an aquatic, anamniotic, gill-bearing vertebrate animal with a tough cranium to protect the brain, but lacking limbs with digits. Fish can be grouped into the more basal jawless fish and the more common jawed fish, the latter including all living cartilaginous and bony fish, as well as the extinct placoderms and acanthodians. In a break from the long tradition of grouping all fish into a single class, Modern phylogenetics views fish as a paraphyletic group that includes all vertebrates except tetrapods. In English, the plural of fish is fish when referring to individuals and fishes when referring to species. Most fish are cold-blooded, their body temperature varying with the surrounding water, though some large, active swimmers like the white shark and tuna can maintain a higher core temperature. F. Flower. Flowers are the reproductive structures of flowering plants. Typically, they are structured in 4 circular levels around the end of a stalk. These include sepals, which are modified leaves that support the flower, petals, often designed to attract pollinators, male stamens, where pollen is presented, and female gynoecia, where pollen is received and its movement is facilitated to the egg. When flowers are arranged in a group, they are known collectively as an inflorescence. The development of flowers is a complex and important part in the life cycles of flowering plants. In most plants, flowers are able to produce sex cells of both sexes. Pollen, which can produce the male sex cells, is transported between the male and female parts of flowers in pollination. F. Fries. Fries are bâtonnets or juleps and cut deep-fried potatoes of disputed origin. They are prepared by cutting potatoes into even strips, drying them, and frying them, usually in a deep fryer. Pre-cut, blanched, and frozen russet potatoes are widely used, and sometimes baked in a regular or convection oven, such as an air fryer. Fries are served hot, either soft or crispy, and are generally eaten as part of lunch or dinner or by themselves as a snack, and they commonly appear on the menus of diners, fast food restaurants, pubs, and bars. They are typically salted and may be served with ketchup, vinegar, mayonnaise, tomato sauce, or other sauces. Fries can be topped more heavily, as in the dishes of poutine, loaded fries, or chili cheese fries, and are occasionally made from sweet potatoes instead of potatoes. F. Falcon. Falcons are birds of prey in the genus Falco, which includes about 40 species. Some small species of falcons with long, narrow wings are called hobbies, and some that hover while hunting are called kestrels. Falcons are widely distributed on all continents of the world except Antarctica, though closely related raptors did occur there in the Eocene. Adult falcons have thin, tapered wings, which enable them to fly at high speed and change direction rapidly. Fledgling falcons, in their first year of flying, have longer flight feathers, which make their configuration more like that of a general-purpose bird such as a broadwing. This makes flying easier while still learning the aerial skills required to be effective hunters like the adults. F. Fox. Foxes are small to medium-sized omnivorous mammals belonging to several genera of the family Canidae. They have a flattened skull, upright, triangular ears, a pointed, slightly upturned snout, and a long, bushy tail brush. 12 species belong to the monophyletic true fox group of genus Vulpes. Another 25 current or extinct species are sometimes called foxes. They are part of the paraphyletic group of the South American foxes or an outlying group, which consists of the bat-eared fox, gray fox, and island fox. Foxes live on every continent except Antarctica. The most common and widespread species of fox is the red fox with about 47 recognized subspecies. F. 4. 4 is a number, numeral, and digit. It is the natural number following 3 and preceding 5. It is a square number, the smallest semi-prime and composite number, and is considered unlucky in many East Asian cultures. Lagrange's four-square theorem states that every positive integer can be written as the sum of at most 4 squares. 4 is one of 4 Al-Harshad numbers. Each natural number divisible by 4 is a difference of squares of 2 natural numbers, i.e. a 4-sided plane figure is a quadrilateral or quadrangle, sometimes also called a tetragon. It can be further classified as a rectangle or oblong, kite, diamond, trapezoid, parallelogram, and square. 4 is the highest degree general polynomial equation for which there is a solution in radicals, and 4 is the only square number. F. Flag. Flag is a piece of fabric with distinctive colors and design, often flown from a pole and used for symbolic, signaling, or decorative purposes. The term flag is also used to refer to the graphic design employed on such pieces of fabric. The study of flags is known as vexillology, from the Latin vexillum, meaning flag, or banner. The first flags were used to aid military coordination on the battlefield, and flags have since evolved into a common tool for basic signaling and identification, especially in environments where communication is challenging, such as maritime environments where semaphore is used. The national flag is a common patriotic symbol of a country, and many national or other flags may be assigned to flag families based on similarities in their designs that demonstrate a shared history, culture, or influence. F. Factory. Factory is an industrial facility, often a complex consisting of several buildings filled with machinery, where workers manufacture items or operate machines which process each item into another. They are a critical part of modern economic production, with the majority of the world's goods being created or processed within factories. Factories arose with the introduction of machinery during the Industrial Revolution, when the capital and space requirements became too great for cottage industry or workshops. Early factories that contained small amounts of machinery, such as 1 or 2 spinning mules, and fewer than a dozen workers, have been called glorified workshops. Most modern factories have large warehouses or warehouse-like facilities that contain heavy equipment used for assembly line production. F. Flute. Flute is a member of a family of musical instruments in the woodwind group. Like all woodwinds, flutes are aerophones, producing sound with a vibrating column of air. Flutes produce sound when the player's air flows across an opening. In the hornbostel, sax classification system, flutes are edge-blown aerophones. A musician who plays the flute is called a flautist or flutist. Paleolithic flutes with hand-bored holes are the earliest known identifiable musical instruments. A number of flutes dating to about 53,000 to 45,000 years ago have been found in the Swabian Jura region of present-day Germany, indicating a developed musical tradition from the earliest period of modern human presence in Europe. While the oldest flutes currently known were found in Europe, Asia also has a long history with the instrument. F. Fairy. Fairy is a type of mythical being or legendary creature, generally described as anthropomorphic, found in the folklore of multiple European cultures, a form of spirit, often with magical, metaphysical, supernatural, or preternatural qualities. Myths and stories about fairies do not have a single origin but are rather a collection of folk beliefs from disparate sources. Various folk theories about the origins of fairies include casting them as either demoted angels or demons in a Christian tradition, as deities in pagan belief systems, as spirits of the dead, as prehistoric precursors to humans, or as spirits of nature. The label of fairy has at times applied only to specific magical creatures with human appearance, magical powers, and a penchant for trickery. F. Fern. Ferns are a group of vascular plants that reproduce via spores and have neither seeds nor flowers. They differ from non-vascular plants by having specialized transport bundles that conduct water and nutrients from and to the roots, as well as life cycles in which the branched sporophyte is the dominant phase. Ferns have leaves called megaphylls that are more complex than the microphylls of club mosses. Most ferns are leptosporangiate ferns that produce coiled fiddleheads that uncoil and expand into fronds. The group includes about 10,560 known extant species. Ferns are defined here in the broad sense, being all of the Polypodiopsida, comprising both the leptosporangiate and eusporangiate ferns, the latter group including horsetails, whisk ferns, marachioid ferns, and ophioglossoid ferns. F. Fridge. Fridge is a commercial and home appliance consisting of a thermally insulated compartment and a heat pump that transfers heat from its inside to its external environment so that its inside is cooled to a temperature below the ambient temperature of the room. Refrigeration is an essential food storage technique around the world. The low temperature reduces the reproduction rate of bacteria, so the fridge lowers the rate of spoilage. A fridge maintains a temperature a few degrees above the freezing point of water. The optimal temperature range for perishable food storage is 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. A freezer is a specialized fridge, or portion of a fridge, that maintains its contents temperature below the freezing point of water. F. Ferret. Ferret is a small, domesticated species belonging to the family Mustelidae. The ferret is most likely a domesticated form of the wild European polecat, Mustela putorius, as evidenced by the ferret's ability to interbreed with European polecats and produce hybrid offspring. Physically, ferrets resemble other mustelids because of their long, slender bodies. Including their tail, the average length of a ferret is about 50 centimeters, they weigh between 0.7 and 2.0 kilograms, and their fur can be black, brown, white, or a mixture of those colors. The species is sexually dimorphic, with males being considerably larger than females. Ferrets may have been domesticated since ancient times, but there is widespread disagreement because of the sparseness of written accounts and the inconsistency of those which survive. F. Fire. Fire is the rapid oxidation of a fuel in the exothermic chemical process of combustion, releasing heat, light, and various reaction products. Flames, the most visible portion of the fire, are produced in the combustion reaction when the fuel reaches its ignition point temperature. Flames from hydrocarbon fuels consist primarily of carbon dioxide, water vapor, oxygen, and nitrogen. If hot enough, the gases may become ionized to produce plasma. The color and intensity of the flame depend on the type of fuel and composition of the surrounding gases. Fire, in its most common form, has the potential to result in conflagration, which can lead to permanent physical damage. Fire directly impacts land-based ecological systems worldwide. The positive effects of fire include stimulating plant growth and maintaining ecological balance. F. Fountain. Fountain is a decorative reservoir used for discharging water. It is also a structure that jets water into the air for a decorative or dramatic effect in landscapes. Fountains were originally purely functional, connected to springs or aqueducts and used to provide drinking water and water for bathing and washing to the residents of cities, towns, and villages. Until the late 19th century, most fountains operated by gravity, and needed a source of water higher than the fountain, such as a reservoir or aqueduct, to make the water flow or jet into the air. In addition to providing drinking water, fountains were used for decoration and to celebrate their builders. Roman fountains were decorated with bronze or stone masks of animals or heroes.